Hey lovies, welcome back to my channel, Extreme Tarot, where we do moon readings, pick a cards, and zodiac readings. Today we're doing a zodiac reading for the sign of Taurus, a look into what's going on in your no contact love situation. So I have a few cards drawn, obviously. This is your person's side, and this is your side here. This is the connecting energy between you. I labeled this reading 18 plus because the tarot I want to use is the tarot of sexual magic, because I just feel like it shows, it's not really, we're not getting into the sex, it's just because I'm using that deck. Just so you know, we're going to get tarot and we're just going to look into really how they're feeling overall, like the underlying reasons why. We're going to get some advice for you and some messages from your person. So let's go ahead and start. For the connecting energy, we have this card here, Wise Salt. And the Wise Salt talks about like saltwater solutions. So it made me think obviously of tears, crying, and things like that. I feel like, but then we also had the Sun card on the back of the deck. So I feel like the connection has kind of maybe gone through like more of a rough patch of late, and it's sort of like, you see this rainbow coming out here. I feel like things are going to be moving in a more positive direction, at least emotionally. I'm getting a very emotional energy between the two of you right now. And this card talks about how like solutions of like salt and water are used like on the roads to make, in like a snowstorm, to make the, to let the tires like grip more to the roads. It like creates grit. And I feel like that's like the whole point basically of what's been going on between you guys. I feel like it's more so on your person's end here that they're really like, feeling this energy the most. I feel like for your end, like we had the rainbow on your side. So I feel like you're in more of a better place. Plus your person, the number was 37 and yours was 29. So 37 reduces to a 10 and 29 reduces to an 11. 11 is a master number. So it's almost like you've had some sort of mastery in this energy. You could just have this Wise Salt energy, like more naturally. Whereas your person maybe had to go through a process to acquire it. I'm not saying you didn't have to go through a process to acquire it, but I feel like you maybe did before this connection was even like a part of the picture, if that makes sense. Whereas I feel like this connection has really like, what's the word I'm looking for? Has really added some complexity and depth to your person, because they were also talking about in this card like a brine, and like, when you like brine like a turkey for Thanksgiving, or if you're just like brining meat, and if you just did like a marinade on the outside, it's like almost like the skin will taste good, but it's just like that flavor, unless you let it sit for like, I guess, a really long time. But it doesn't really like get into like the inside of the meat, like, whereas like a brine, when you let it soak like overnight, I think you're supposed to do like a solution of salt and water, it literally, like, the seasoning gets, like, it seasons from the inside out, not just, like, the outer, like, skin or whatever. So it's, like, a more comprehensive seasoning, if you will. And it's, like, the salt actually changes, like, the molecular makeup of, like, the meat. So it becomes more tenderized, if that's the right way to say that. And, like I was saying, with the complexity and depth, like, even when I watch a lot of like Top Chef, but like, they talk about, when they talk about flavor, they use words like that as well, like the complexity of the flavors and things like that. So it's like, I feel like this is living. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like this is a pivotal moment in your connection or like some great realization or turning point or something, because I feel like there's been a lot of like maybe tears with the Wise Salt. And I feel like what your person is learning is how to allow this process to change them in a way. Like, not change them, like become somebody new, but to sort of, I don't think they really had a choice. Like, I feel like this wise soul energy just sort of came into the connection, and changed their molecular makeup here, like, it maybe made them more tender, like, you know what I'm saying? Like with the meat, it's like actually breaks down. It's almost like if you cry and it, like, if you have like stuck energy inside of you, it like loosens it up, and like it tenderizes you. It makes you more, I guess, compassionate and things like that. So I feel like that's what's going on between you guys right now, or like you're almost like just coming out of like a rough period. For your person side, we have the lion spirit. Be generous of spirit right here. And like this lion is like looking over there. And then we have the full moon in Taurus. Your dreams need a practical plan. And then we have my future self can handle it. Oh yeah, like be more compassionate. Like you see, be generous of spirit. It's almost like your person is wanting to like care for you more. Like I'm getting that, like they want to be loyal to you. That was like coming through in my Aries reading yesterday too. So I feel like these energies are just present in the collective right now. But how it's going to be like, you know, specifically like Taurus energy here, we'll see. But like for the Taurus reading, but yeah, like because Lion Leo energy talks about like loyalty and things like that. And it's like, I feel like this person maybe feels like they don't have like money to give or something. Your dreams need a practical plan, but it's like they want to be generous of spirit, if that makes sense, while they figure out their financial life. I also feel like in regards to this connection, your dreams need a practical plan. I feel like your person is almost trying to prepare themselves for, I guess, this connection, or just being open to the idea of this connection. I feel like they're trying to come up with some sort of plan. They're trying to, in order so their future self can feel like reassured, like, and like my future self can handle it. They're trying to almost like, yeah, like give themselves like a pep talk, like, okay, like I can handle this, like as long as I'm just, I don't really know what they're actually planning here. Your dreams need a practical plan, but it's like they want to have some sort of game plan here before they move forward. And I think in order just to like ease their own anxieties. So for instance, if they, oh my God, that candle just went out. Let me just put a different candle here for a second. I'm sorry. I don't even know if this one's still lighting. Sorry guys. I'm just gonna move you over here. I don't even know if this candle's gonna light. This thing is like down to the wire. Sorry guys, I'm so sorry. Okay, it's still going. I'll just do that. Okay, so what's like an example of something they'd want to prepare for? I mean, maybe they just want to make sure like their energy is like stabilized. Maybe they want to like plan like a date, like something just like simple like that. Maybe they want to have a game plan of like how they want to like progress this forward and more like more of a timeline kind of a plan. Like, okay, like first we can just like, you know, meet up and have coffee and just keep it like casual at first and just sort of get to know each other. Like then we can like progress it up and like start going out to dinner. Like, I don't know, like something like that where it's like they want to have some sort of timeline or something in their head. I'm getting, oh, the candle went out too. I can't, this is just crazy. All right. And now that these candles keep going out, I'm thinking that maybe they feel like in the past that they sort of not led you on, but maybe like it would seem like they like led you on because they were like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Maybe like things seem to be going well and like the light just went out, like the candle. Oh, I know, I just blew it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, things just kind of petered out and they just maybe like left you hanging or something like that. Like they were like maybe in and out, like there's like in and out behavior, and that's why it says like my future self can handle this, because maybe like their past self couldn't, if that makes sense. Okay, please just stay there. All right, sorry about that. But yeah, so, and then I don't know, so I feel like they're trying to come up with a plan. I feel like things have happened that have really made them look at this situation from like an emotional perspective. I do feel like they want to be loyal and generous, and even if they don't have like a lot of money to share with you, they want to like at least give their time. That's kind of how I'm feeling, and their care and their like empathy and things like that. They're like, because being generous, because it says to be generous of spirit, like if you ever see, I mean, I'm a waitress, and it's like, you know, people that are like super rich or have like that Black American Express card always tip like the least amount, which whatever, like I get, that's probably why they're rich, like I get it. But it's like, being generosity has nothing to do with like what you actually have. Like it's, you can be generous with your time, with helping people. Like if you're a generous person, even if you have nothing, it's like you'll give the shirt off your back. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't need like, because like sometimes Taurus energy is like the King of Pentacles, and it's like you don't need to have like a whole kingdom here and like, oh, here's a castle for you. Like, you know, it's just being generous is more of like a quality, like inside of you. No matter what you have, you could be generous with it. And I feel like that's what your person really wants to do here. Whereas with you, see the big picture, giraffe spirit. Again, this is kind of similar to my to my Aries reading yesterday, where I felt like it was like a hawk spirit, but this is a giraffe. But again, they have the long neck, they have that higher perspective, see the big picture. I feel like there's a little bit of mirroring going on here, because we have two like sort of like fiery animals and then two earth like zodiacs here. We have Capricorn on your end. Your hard work is paying off, but it's a new moon, not a full moon. And then we had this giraffe spirit. I'll just hold it up, see the big picture. And underneath that, when I feel stuck, I get my body moving. So maybe you guys are, it says my hard work is paying off and my body moving. So I feel like you're looking at this from a sense of, like, you're looking at the bigger picture. You have like more of like this bird's eye, or I guess giraffe's eye view, where you recognize that you have this wise soul energy. Remember I was saying that earlier, like where you just are sort of like a wise person. You've had experiences that have like changed you, maybe like long before this connection came along. So you've had this wisdom. So you probably were already like ahead of the game when you entered into this connection with your person, but I'm sure it's taught you even more. So now you're like, again, you have this master number with the giraffe, like the number 11 with the giraffe spirit, and your hard work is paying off. Like you have put in the work, and I think it has like afforded you the ability to have this higher perspective and almost to be able to like ground down. Almost like if things aren't moving with your person or you're feeling upset, you can start something new. Like you start a new endeavor, you start a new workout routine. Just when I feel stuck, I get my body moving. So maybe you felt like this connection was like stagnating, and you're like, okay, well, that doesn't mean the rest of my life has to stagnate. We also had on the bottom of the deck, you are good enough, a full moon in Virgo. So maybe you recently went through like a process of like questioning your value or something like that. And I think you've come to the conclusion, like I think you wrapped this up maybe with this last full moon. You sort of reaffirmed your own self-confidence and things like that. So you're seeing things now. You're seeing this connection as a whole. You're seeing like the work that you've done. You're seeing like all the ways that you've grown. And I feel like you've sort of accepted that this either will or won't work out. Like, not that you don't want it to work out. I think you really do. But it's almost like, but look at, you understand that the point is the growth in a way. And that that's like the most valuable part of this whole process, is the way that you're able to feel good enough now, and like all the hard work you have put in. And I feel like you're starting to see changes maybe in your physical world. Yeah, your hard work is paying off. So you could be having kind of like a new start in your career or something like that. Or even like if you have been working out, like you're seeing like a lot of good results, and you're like you're seeing your body like change in the way that you maybe like wanted it to. Like if you've been trying to like, I don't know, build strength, you're getting like toned arms, like you could see like the muscle like starting to form. And again, that whole like molecular makeup changing, it's like you're doing things to actually change. I feel like this is on a more physical scale for you, where you're using the wisdom that you learned in these hard times, like with this whole tear energy, and you're using that to sort of like applying that wisdom like to the process of in your physical world, and you're starting to see things change there as well. It's like a reflection, the way that these two animals are looking at each other. It's like the work you've done is now being reflected back to you with this Capricorn energy. You see how here they're facing away from each other? Like this person is more like internally focused right now. It's facing toward the tears, and it's like the practical side where they're going to be applying this knowledge. Hasn't really happened yet. My future self can handle it. Like they see this as happening sometime in the future, or spirit does, and they just want you to know like that there is work being done, but you're a little bit more ahead of the game here than your person, which I think I said in my reading yesterday, but it's a similar vibe. So, okay, if that sounds like something that you're resonating with, let's get some of these tarot cards and just check into how your person is like feeling about you, Taurus. How is Taurus's person feeling about Taurus? Oh, we had a flipper. We have the Knave of Pentacles, or the Page of Pentacles. How is Taurus's person? Sorry, let me just look real quick. Okay. Okay, we have the Three of Pentacles. The Four of Swords. How is Taurus's person feeling about Taurus? We have the Ten of Cups and the Ace of Cups, or the Ace of Chalices in this deck as it's called. And then we have the Sun on the bottom of the deck. Oh, and what's that? I see the Nine of Pentacles below that, but okay. So what are we seeing here? Well, we're starting with the Page of Pentacles. So I feel like your person has kind of been like hiding from you. You maybe haven't heard from them a lot lately. Like, they could have been using substances, because there's a lot of like cups here on this card. Like, and this isn't a cups card, it's a pentacles card. So it's like, I feel like they maybe could have been drinking a lot, or just like having a good time, or even in their interactions with you, they weren't very like direct. Like, I'm noticing like the difference between these two cards, and how he's behind her here, like feeding her alcohol or whatever, like he's giving her like a drink or whatever, but he's like, they're not face to face, there's no like vulnerability present here. Whereas with the Three of Pentacles, like they're fully naked, face to face, like eye to eye, like just, it's a very intimate sort of a scene. And I feel like intimacy is a problem for your person. Not even just really in regards to sex, but here I'm noticing like this looks more like a party, like a club scene. Like there's a table with like empty drinks on it. This is more of like a cozy at-home scene. There's like pots and pans that's like in the kitchen. I'm thinking like the morning after, like, you know, I feel like this person isn't someone that usually sticks around for the morning after. And maybe in your past, if you guys have like slept together and things like that, that's something that you can attest to, that maybe your person is sort of like, they like leave and like they won't like be there for breakfast in the morning or something like that. They're usually out of there. That's like a level of intimacy that they're not really comfortable with. I feel like they maybe have not been willing to hear your side of the story. They maybe, because the way that this is looking at me, I feel like I'm seeing a dynamic where maybe she's like kind of holding his, like she's like blocking it and he's like putting his finger over her mouth. And that's making me think that like they were more interested in the sexual aspects of this connection and you were more interested in maybe like talking about this connection. And it's like you both were like blocking what the other one wanted. Like you both wanted like opposite things. And I don't know, like I'm kind of getting that. Yeah, I feel like your person's like thinking a lot about this though. Like again, like I feel like this is almost like a timeline. That timeline thing is coming through again, but like a timeline of like your connection in the past. I feel like there's a lot of that going on in the collective. Again, this was kind of present in my Aries reading, but it was different, a different dynamic. But anyway, so I feel like that's being highlighted and that's what they're thinking on, I think, the most. Maybe how like the differences between you guys, and they're starting to understand that even though there are these differences, like with the wise salt, like they're seeing it now from like a more wise perspective, where maybe in the past they just like were like, oh, I don't want to hear it, like, oh, like they were maybe like a little selfish, yeah, generous, like, and now they want to be more generous. And maybe, but it's okay, because I feel like in the past, like even if they allowed you to say what you wanted to say, you maybe it wouldn't have been received well. So maybe it's better off that you kind of like, they were keeping you at arm's length. And same with sex. If you haven't like had sex or whatever, like again, they probably wouldn't have been there for breakfast or something like that. Oh, I forgot to tell you your song. It was Fate by 4-Star Mary. Just wanted to say that, Fate. But like they wouldn't have been there for breakfast, so maybe like you blocked that aspect, and maybe they sort of took it as either like a rejection or that you were trying to manipulate them, like, oh, like I won't have sex with you unless you want to be my boyfriend or girlfriend. And they were just like not about that at the time. So I don't know, I feel like there was a lot of like blockages in this connection, like where it didn't really move forward in any sort of a way. And I feel like, especially this 10 of Cups, it's a very interesting 10 of Cups. It's not really happy. It's like she's trying to give this man something and he's just like walking away, not accepting it. So again, I feel like they're recognizing your generosity in the past, or maybe even the present, and how they sort of weren't accepting of it, and they maybe like turned their back on it. And then I feel like now maybe they feel like you're turning your back on them. Maybe that's something that's been going on in this whole process here, where that has been like opened their eyes and made them like start to change the way they think about the situation and see the situation, because now they're worried about like, oh my God, what if this person is like, now turning their back on me. Now I'm thinking I might want this sort of intimacy with this person. I think they're scared that they're going to run away again. Like, I think that's something that that's what they almost want to prepare for and make a practical plan for it. Like, okay, like if I start feeling this fear in the future, like how can I like combat it? Like, how can I work with it? I think that's like the things that they're thinking about right now. And like we end with the Ace of Cups, which it's like such a beautiful card, where it's like, that is like a true intimate like connection. They're in bed, they're face to face, they're completely naked, there's like sparkles, it's pink, it's pretty, like, and I feel like they're just worried about their natural tendencies to run away and like, how can I get to this place? I feel like they do want it, but they don't know how to, like, again, with that practical plan, like they don't know how to like turn their emotional wants and needs into something practical that they can like put into practice in like the physical world with you, like have a new start with you that isn't gonna like leave you feeling abandoned and hurt and things like that. I feel like they're like scared that they're gonna do that. I'm getting like some sort of fear about that, but my future self can handle it. I feel like they're trying to tell them, like, no, I'll be okay, like I'll handle it. But at the same time, I feel like their natural like inclination is to like sort of turn and run even when they're happy, because this is the 10 of Cups. So it's like, it's not like they're leaving an unhappy situation. They're leaving like a happy situation. I feel like they're seeing that you have a lot to offer here with all this fruit being present, and you're like, here, have some, and they can't handle it, you know? But it's almost like I feel like maybe they did try to get vulnerable a little bit, because this guy isn't wearing a shirt in the card as they're walking away, where it's almost like, again, maybe like that's something that happened where they did like give a little bit, but then it's like they got spooked and ran. Spooked by nothing like that you did, like spooked because they were happy, like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I feel like they're really thinking on that now, and like, how can I kind of prevent that from happening again? And maybe this whole like situation that I'm kind of picking up on, where like maybe they did try to be a little bit more vulnerable and then they ran. It's like almost like they tried to go from one extreme to the other too fast, and then it just kind of caused a block, and now they're thinking on it and they want to figure out how to prevent that from happening again. Okay, that's like the vibe that I'm getting. But okay, let's look a little bit more into this to see like why they're feeling this way, what's going on. No, you did this yesterday too. I'm going to look at, this is like I have advice cards. So I just want to see like what lessons they're learning specifically in regard to this connection. Just see like kind of what's coming through as like the underlying reasons as to why they're feeling this way or act this way. All right, we have connect with divine feminine energy, music, fun, art, painting, joy, sexuality, kindness, cooking, dance. So again, maybe like the realm of emotions and like feminine energy. Maybe there's somebody that was like hyper masculine. We did have the sun coming through twice on the back of the deck. We have sometimes success is scarier than failure because it brings actual change to our lives. Like if I had a nickel for every time this card comes out in my readings recently. But that's kind of going along with this 10 of Cups energy, where it's like they're scared of it like actually like getting more intimate, because they know that like this connection has the potential to open that door for them, you know, and it's like they can't take it, or they couldn't. I think they're trying to figure out how to now. I don't know. So I feel like, again, they were feeling some sort of just natural magnetism towards you, or some realization like, oh, we could be happy together, and so they had to run away. And that's kind of where that was coming from. The world is sleeping and all is well, a mantra for anxiety. And I feel like they overthink, whereas like connect with divine feminine energy, that's kind of talking about, that's almost like this Taurus energy, where it's like connecting to the things that make you feel happy in a more sensual way, like cooking food and painting. Like I feel like that's like when I feel stuck, I get my body moving. Like that's something that you know how to do very well, like to sort of get out of your head and into your body. And I feel like that's something your person struggles with. I feel like they have a lot of anxiety. They have like an overactive mind. That's too many. All right, what is Taurus's person? Oh, okay. Embrace uncertainty. Again, like with the anxiety, and like people that have anxiety cannot embrace uncertainty. It's very challenging for them. And a lot of like divine feminine energy is about just like going with the flow. Like I feel like your person cannot really flow with their emotions. Like as soon as they come up or they feel something real, it's almost like it's like the anxiety kicks in and they start telling themselves all this different stuff, and they like put the block up, and then trust the strange and mysterious at this time. It probably feels strange and mysterious for them to even have feelings. I don't feel like that's something that they're very comfortable with or have been very comfortable with. But let's see what else we have here. What is your person feeling for you right now? But yeah, and even with this connect with divine feminine energy, I feel like something that they've thought about, just because I'm looking at all the things on this card, and like cooking, and we had this here, painting, all right, joy, sexuality, fun, art, music, kindness. I feel like they see your relationship as being this really soft, beautiful, like 10 of Cups thing, like where you would have a lot in common and you would just almost like have fun doing like the mundane things. Like you could just be like making dinner for the night, but you'd be like dancing around in the kitchen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they could see your life could be like so much fun and soft and like sweet. And it's like, they're just like, it scares them. Like it just, oh my God, it scares them. We have acceptance. I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. I wasn't really asking a question, but I guess we'll just keep it because I wanted to come out. What is Taurus's person feeling? Oh, we have denial. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. And indecision, I use my intuition in all aspects of life. And then we have perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. I feel like, oh my God, that just, okay, judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique paths and challenges. I feel like, again, with this wise salt energy, they're trying to like look at the way they've acted, like going a little bit deeper here. Like I feel like this salty experience is like, it really is like creating a little bit more complexity and depth in their emotional body, where they're actually like paying attention to it and trying to acknowledge that, you know, their fear is really running the show. Like, what's that song, Drive by Incubus? I think, isn't there something in that song that's like, how much I let the fear take the wheel and steer. I forget the first part of that like little quote, like, or lyric, but it's like, I don't know. It's all about how, like, I feel like that's like the vibe your person's in. If you want to listen to that song, it's Drive by Incubus, but where it's like fear is running the show, not like themselves and what they actually want, their heart, their emotions, and like what, you know, it's like, and I don't think they even realized that that was happening. Like, it's almost like their thoughts come in and tell them like, no, like, you don't want this, like, I don't want this, like, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, at the same time, makes them feel good. So it's like very confusing, I think, for your person. But they're trying to like, again, with the plan, they're like trying to like understand this aspect of their nature and try to sort of fix it, and to be more mindful of like their thought process, and how like when these fears come up, they can sort of like, mantra for anxiety, like do something to soothe the anxiety, if that makes sense. So let's see. Oop. Let's get some advice for you guys, and then we're going to get some message cards from your person. What is the advice for Taurus right now about this connection, just for themselves, like whatever they need to hear? What is the advice for my Taurus? People watching. We have the Rose Garden. Innocence, forgiveness, be gentle with yourself. And the Sacred Union, beloved within, inner and outer relationships. And on the back of the deck, we have Brothers of the Rose, sacred masculine, honor, protection, and support. So I feel like Spirit is really like pointing out that, because we have the brothers, like this masculine energy, but then we have this Rose Garden, innocence, forgiveness, be gentle with yourself. I feel like you really have mastered like the art of like your feminine and masculine energies. Maybe not like every single day, but overall you have a pretty good understanding of both, and you've learned how to like sort of like blend them together with this sacred union. And I feel like, yeah, inner and outer relationships. I think I was saying that earlier, that like that whole like reflection thing, how like your inner world changed, like maybe you worked on your feminine energy first, cleared away some shadows, learned how to like really connect with and go with the flow and embrace uncertainty, like kind of like the stuff your person's trying to learn now. Probably not in the exact same way, but like the overall tone is the same. And then now you're, like I was saying, like applying that into your physical world, and your hard work is paying off. Things are changing. And even with your person, I feel like they are actually like putting in the work here, or trying to really like, by like trying to understand themselves in a more feminine way. So Just try to be patient with your person, I guess, and just keep doing what you're doing, because I feel like really good things like sort of are coming from you. You're very much in alignment here. Beloved within inner and outer relationships. I feel like you have that thing down pat where you're very like protective and like able to have boundaries and things like that, but at the same time you have this sweet energy. Like you have that really good balance. So I don't think you have to worry about like asserting your boundaries. There's this card that I have in my Journey of Love deck, and it says that it's like, don't worry so much about like asserting your boundaries. Like you're so well developed that like your boundaries will naturally like assert themselves. Like you'll feel that intuitive nudge. Like that's the feminine aspect of your nature, like which will activate that masculine energy to like support, protect, and like set boundaries and things like that. So I feel like you've really got that down pat, and I think Spirit just wants to like sort of commend you. And also just the fact that that's coming up, maybe there's some sort of experience that will be playing out related to that, like what I was just saying, where you'll have to sort of like a little test of how balanced you really are. So just be aware of that. All right, what would Taurus's person want to say to Taurus right now? What would they actually want to say to them? I know that's White Rose's line, but I just think it's the best one, so I use it too. You're such a good kisser. Oh, all right. What else? There's kissing going on in this card, so maybe they're thinking about that. You're so fucking sexy. And you're such a nurturer. What else would they want to say? What would Taurus's person want to say to Taurus right now? You always try to be fair. Okay. Oh. I never meant to hurt you. Again, this whole salt thing, I think, with that whole like you're so fucking sexy thing, again, maybe they were just sort of treating you like a sex object or something, and like they really are like regretting it. I'm scared to 100% give into these feelings, but I think they are also trying to like explore their feelings to some degree. Maybe, like I was saying, they're not ready to like take this to the physical and enter into a relationship with you right at this moment, but it says 100%. I don't think that they're scared to give into it like to some degree, like I was saying, just maybe not 100% yet. You're the whole package. I allowed others to distort my perception of you. And even if that's not the case with others, with that whole denial thing, I do feel like they're recognizing some sort of distorted perception that they had towards you in this connection. And they're trying to look at things differently. I'll just take this top one. But it says, you make me want to be better. And I feel like your person has a tough time accepting themselves just as a whole person, like even the bad things. And I feel like that's something they're working on now. And just realizing that these patterns that they have maybe of like running away exist for a reason. They need to get to the root of that in order to like sort of understand it and come up with a strategy for, you know, keeping it from happening again. You're such an interesting person. You judge people on their character alone and never for any superficial reasons. And how am I able to feel you when you're miles away? It's like, yeah, these feelings aren't going away. If you do have some sort of like spiritual connection or something like that, where you feel their energy and things like that, that's just confirmation. Otherwise, they just can't get you out of their head. I feel like they're very much invested in this connection with you emotionally. And I don't think they ever really meant to be. But all right, Taurus, I think we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this reading, please like, comment, or subscribe to my channel. And thank you so much to everybody that recently has subscribed. It's so exciting and means so much to me. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye.